This one just looks like some sort of shapeless tube creature. Why be easy when you can just die? I'm Chewy Mew, and welcome to my channel, where today is June 30th, 2024, and that marks the 20th anniversary of Spider-Man 2, and it also marks Sailor Moon's birthday. And so I figured, in honor of both of these special events for two of my favorite fictional characters of all time, if you put a gun to my head and I had to choose between which one I like more, between Spider-Man and Sailor Moon, I think you'd have to shoot me because I couldn't decide. I like them possibly equally. Like, there's some Sailor Moon content I like more than Spider-Man stuff. Like, I like the Sailor Moon 90s anime more than anything the MCU has ever made, and also more than the TASM movies. But I like the Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3 movies more than I like the manga. I like the 90s animated series more than I like Sailor Moon Crystal. But either way, it being in honor of these two special occasions, I figured I'd do a versus between these two figures. This is the SH Figure Arts Spider-Man No Way Home Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man versus the SH Figure Arts Sailor Moon Original Animation Colors. And let's hop in to the accuracy to the source material, because that's an important thing. Because, you know, I've heard people before say, well, who cares if it's not accurate? I want the character. And it's like, well, if it's not accurate, why do you want it if it doesn't look like the character? And I'm going to say both of these look pretty accurate, but spoilers, Sailor Moon wins, because this doesn't just look like Sailor Moon. This is Sailor Moon. If Sailor Moon was an action figure, this is what it would be. And it looks perfect. Like, the proportions and stuff. I know I'm not one to talk, considering I like figures that have, like, ball hips and big gaps in their thighs and long arms. But as far as proportions go, this is exactly what she looks like in the show. She doesn't have much shape to her. She doesn't have, like, any, like, sort of body definition. She's basically just a skinny girl. That's what she is. And, like, the color scheme is accurate. The hair could be a little bit more on the yellow side. I will say her medallion on her ribbon right here, pink part, it should be closer to this color. The face, like, that is just Sailor Moon's face there. The little dimple looking things there. The eyes, they're not sculpted, they're just painted. And those are exactly what her eyes look like in season 1 and 2, which is what this design is based off of. The tiara looks the same. The hair buns also look like they're supposed to. The hair is like these little swoops and curls, which is not technically inaccurate. Like, and then the hands, her hand is like almost the size of Tobey's, even though she's like way smaller. But that's because the characters in Sailor Moon are drawn with overly large hands. As far as accuracy goes, it's like perfect. The only thing that could be better, that little piece on her medallion should be a slightly darker shade of pink. But other than that, it's basically perfect. And even, she does have a bunch of articulation, less than Tobey, but she still has a bunch of articulation. And standing like this, the only joints you can see is like her elbows, her knees, and then like you can see the ball hinge wrists and stuff. But it doesn't break up the sculpt. Like, there's not any sacrifices to her costume to make this work. Tobey does have sacrifices to his costume, but as far as accuracy goes, they nailed the suit. Like, you can see he also has no nose, like in No Way Home. I know this isn't Spider-Man 2 suit. It's accurate to No Way Home. Like, the web lines are painted correctly. The spider logo is not black. It's a sort of gunmetal grayish color. The sort of hexagon-looking pattern on the red sections matches the blue, and it transitions perfectly. The eye shape is done correctly, and he does have, like, the wide eyes and no nose, like I said, which is accurate to No Way Home. Which, I don't know why they CGI'd his mask to look weird like that. Like, give this guy a nose, come on. And so the colors aren't perfect. Also, the little swoop on the boot is accurate. The spider logo, I haven't seen the No Way Home logo, but I'm just going to assume that that's correct. The belt part looks the same. Like I said, there are some sacrifices to his costume just due to articulation. Like having like the sort of Speedo design, that's fine because for the sake of articulation. But the colors aren't accurate. Aren't accurate, or are inaccurate. I can't talk. They should be a bit more, the red and blue should be slightly lighter and a bit more vibrant. And that's like my only issue as far as the costume. My other big issue with Tobey is that this looks nothing like a human being. I'm not talking about proportion, I'm talking about the build. Like, this has no musculature to it. And I'm not in shape at all, but my pectorals are bigger than that. Like, no six-pack at all. His biceps are like completely flat. He's got no thigh muscles. Compared to this one, which this is honestly a bit too ripped for Tobey, but he's got pecs, he's got six-pack, biceps and triceps folding out, big thigh muscles, he's got a butt, he's got back muscles there as well. This looks like a ripped human. This looks like a person who's muscular. This one just looks like some sort of shapeless tube creature. And Tobey, he's not ripped in No Way Home, but he still has some body definition. You can still see his pecs, you can still see his muscles on his body. He's not ripped like compared to like Spider-Man 1 where he's actually ripped for real. He's got like a Bruce Lee kind of looking body, but in No Way Home, he's not shapeless like this. And this says, no shape to it. It doesn't look like a human being. So as far as the accessories go, it's not really an accessory, but this is the default face Sailor Moon has. And then she has these other ones, a smiling open face, or a happy open face, an angry face, angry open mouth face, and then an angry face without her tiara. Speaking of tiara, you get her tiara, which has a hand built in on the bottom that you could put on it, and it's done pretty nicely. It's like a metallic, whitish golden kind of color. It looks pretty good. You get both of her wands. They're both called the Moonstick. This one is the Maboroshi no Genzuisho, which is the name of that crystal right there. That's right, I'm a Sailor Moon weeb. You get these two gripping hands. Her right hand is meant to actually hold the wand, and then the left hand is sort of to hold it on the back side. You get two fists. She has relaxed hands in the packaging by default. You get a web shooting hand for the left, a finger pointing hand for the right, and then a peace sign hand also for the right. She also comes with her cat Luna. And she also comes with a display stand, which is, it's acrylic, I think, and it's has a bunch of joints. It swivels here, it hinges here, 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 and then this part swivels, and these pinchers also, technically that's a swivel, it's not a hinge, and then you can clip it to her and it holds up her weight. And I think this stand is incredibly useful for this character, just for any character, so you can have them in airborne poses. He has two fist hands here, along with the Peter Parker, technically Peter Parker, along with the Spider-Man mask and the Spider-Man neck. And then you get a serious Tobey face that has the separate mask piece, so he has like his mask down. And then you also get the smiling Tobey face that has like a sort of cowlick on the back, which both these faces are done nicely. That's Tobey as heck right there. Both of these are, and this is like Tobey, his like awkward real life laughing kind of face. Then he also comes with a bunch of hands. You get wall crawling hands, web shooting, finger pointing, web holding, and then you get a relaxed hand that's or a sort of a relaxed / grabbing hand to hold his mask. And unfortunately, I don't have the loose mask, and I also don't have the 5 web accessories he comes with. He comes with 2 short web accessories, 2 sort of medium ones, and then 1 long one. The long one is supposed to slide in between the groove here on his hand. You can see he's got a little peg right there. You can slide the web onto it. And then the other ones, you wrap them around his wrist. Like you pop the wrist off, you slip the web onto this piece, and then you just put the hand on, and it looks like he's like shooting a web, you know? So as far as the accessories go, I think at first it would be tied. They pretty much come with all the hands you'd need for the characters to pretty much do any poses that they would do in the show. And then you get Sailor Moon's, technically all 3 of Sailor Moon's weapons, a bunch of faceplates. And Tobey technically comes with his weapons, which are just webs, and 2 faces, which are both done very nicely. But I think what puts Sailor Moon over the edge of winning is a display stand. Like, if Tobey came with a display stand, I would say that they would be, like, perfectly tied. And now the last thing is articulation. And so, I've already done articulation on Sailor Moon so many times, so I'm just going to speedrun this. So, I'm not going to go over the full detail of both the articulation, because I'm going to do a full review of Tobey eventually, and I've already reviewed the Sailor Moon figure, like, a bunch of times. So, really quick, I'm just going to go over the Tobey articulation. The neck can do basically anything you want it to do. The diaphragm, the top, and the waist joint also have incredibly good range in every direction. He has double bends in the elbow and the knees. Sailor Moon only has single bends, but they're honestly pretty on par with each other, I would say. Spider-Man gets slightly more range. She could cross her arms, and then she can dual hand her wand, which is also pretty good. That's how far back her arms go. So his arms don't go back at all compared to Sailor Moon's. They go back all the way. So Sailor Moon's hair does rotate, and Tobey does have a toe joint. So Tobey kicks forward, or Tobey kicks that high up. Sailor Moon, all the way up, she can kick super high up. And both of their hip joints are designed differently, but both of them can do full-on splits this direction. It's still not super good on either of these, unfortunately. Come on, SH Figuarts. Bandai, that's one thing they need to do. Like, all this awesome import-level articulation, because they are imports, but they can't get the figure to do full-on splits out to the side when you're not going to be, like, just doing this with the figure, but it's like, if you want him doing a high kick this direction, he can't kick up that much higher, and then it does droop a little bit. Or if you want him doing an upside-down web-hanging pose, like in this picture, he can almost do it, but if he had full-on splits, it would just work way better. I will say, I think Tobey's articulation in some parts is way better, but overall, I think Sailor Moon could do basically every single pose you'd want her to be able to get her in, especially she can do pretty much all the poses in the show. And with the fist hands, she can beat the crap out of Green Goblin just as well as Spider-Man can. But yeah, overall, I think both of the figures are pretty good. Our accessories, like I said, almost tied. Articulation for the characters, basically tied, but when it comes to accuracy, Sailor Moon just wins. So I think overall, Sailor Moon is probably the better figure. So I guess happy birthday to Sailor Moon and Spider-Man 2. And I will see you guys in the next video. Also, let me know what you like more. Everyone's going to pick Tobey because everyone likes Spider-Man on my channel. But I will see you guys in the next review. Wow.